It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. It's always have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Longe. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. So today, or earlier today, I saw something on social media and I thought, oh, this really resonated with me. It says, moms are constantly caught between the need to be present and the need to be productive. It doesn't just make us feel guilty. It leaves us feeling in a constant state of not enoughness, quote. That exhausts us even further. And I was like, yes, this captures exactly how I feel. Like, you feel exhausted because you are constantly on this guilt-tripping behavior. Like, am I there for them? And if I'm there, am I doing enough to make sure that I'm able to, so, yes. And I thought, oh, yes, this captures it. But they're saying to me that it's okay. All of us are in this same boat. It's not just you. So since I realized that we're all in it together, we're going to be fine. Yeah.
Good. How are you doing, Damola?
I'm very well, thank you. It's been a productive week for me, as usual. Well rested, and I'm happy to be here.
Good. How are you doing? Very straight to the
So,
point.
I was talking to my mom this morning, and she said, Tokwe, I did not sleep early, and I saw that on WhatsApp you were still online at 12 midnight. Tokwe, you need to sleep. So, but I'm putting together an event this Friday, and it just occurred to me on ways that I have not mentioned it on Your View. We're having a realtors hangout. This is for people who want to make money from real estate, selling real estate that is legitimate, and I'm putting a whole lot. We're having food, drinks, DJ, like the budget. Is shrinking me. But I understand that we're trying to appeal to different audience, and some audience like entertainment. They don't, I'm a very serious person. I'll go for a very serious conference, but some
You
people
got
will
to
not
me
attend.
at the dress code.
Denim, all denim. You saw yourself. I didn't think you did. So we're doing all denim. The dress code is all denim. I saw one of Mariam's outfit that she had this cute denim jacket, and we're wearing all denim. On Friday, 3 p.m., go to my social media page and you can register to join us. It'll be fun, entertaining, networking, and learning.
At your office?
At my office,
oh,
yeah.
Nice, cool, nice. You're building a tribe.
Yeah, I'm trying
Nice
to build the community.
I think so. Fantastic. Well done. All right, let's
you?
go on. I'm fine. There's nothing happening.
Well, you look really nice today.
Thank you. My sister-in-law gave me for as a gift last year. December. I couldn't fit in.
Wow.
December. Yeah, I couldn't button up. So I said,
And
I'm just
here
trying
you
this
are.
morning, and here I am.
That's your progress report.
Progress report.
Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to start with the paper review. Start with The Nation. New twist in Niger crisis as Russian mercenaries arrive. Ministers zoom into action. It's September 7th for judgment in Shoaib and Obaseki's case. BRICS offers $10 billion loans. UK police charge Diezani with bribe taking and fraud. President names NIMC boss, medical consultants serve 21-day strike notice. Government to curb rising inflation with cut in money supply. And stock exchange joins bid to boost forex availability. Okay, which story are we starting with in The Nation?
Okay, I'll start with the Diezani story. So we remember one of our former petroleum ministers, Diezani Alice Majeke. She's been charged with bribery taken by the United Kingdom police. They said that she allegedly accepted £100,000 in cash, chauffeur-driven cars, flights on private jets, luxury holidays for her family, and the use of multiple London properties from oil and gas contractors. They also said that she received gifts, furniture gifts, renovation work, staff for her London properties, payment of private tuitions, and gifts from high-end designer shops such as Cartier jewelry, Louis Vuitton goods. We know that she's been living in the UK, and the UK police, have brought this against her. Her family lawyer has said that they will definitely, defend this because she's been getting this sort of charge or allegations or accusations since she was minister, and they're ready to go to court concerning this. We also remember that we had heard as well, the family said she had undergone chemotherapy for breast cancer as well. But the UK police are saying, see, for us, bribery is a pervasive form of corruption which enables serious criminality and can have devastating consequences for developing countries. And so for them, this is a serious matter. As we know, we've been trying
Corruption is really difficult to try because they've also been trying to get her on something, but they were able to do some other. This one was easy to quickly start from end to finish. This has been a struggle to get design.
I guess they have done their proper investigation, so that when they finally get to court, it will be.
Okay, congratulations to my cousin. We call ourselves cousins. Anytime we see each other, like, hey, cousin. Anyway, to Bise Koka Odishote, the president has recently appointed her as the acting director general of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, and this would follow the terminal vacation of the office of the commission's outgoing DG CEO, Aliyu Abubakar Aziz, who has been asked to proceed on a 90-day retirement leave from August 24th, which is starting tomorrow. So this was
This is not congratulations, no. This is work.
This is, yeah.
That's a department that I've called out twice on this show how we were looking for how to get NIN number. You have registered and you cannot find your number. The data, their server is always down. Please, let me know.
I think the president has also approved the appointment of Yusuf Buba Yakubu to serve as the director CEO of the Directorate of the Technical Aid Corps, as DTAC, and also follows the tenure, the recent expiration tenure of the current CEO, which is Dr. Pius Oshuyikomi. The appointment takes effect with immediate effect.
Right.
I just like the wording where they say terminal vacation. So you have let the person go. What's the terminal?
They're still going to pay you for it. So.
Okay, so there's a new twist in Niger crisis as Russian mercenaries arrive.
Wow.
Yes. So the Wagner group from Russia in Mali with soldiers, arms, and ammunition. And their leader claims that they are in Mali to provide support to Mali to dislodge terrorists and any other interest that they may have, any other interest in quotes. Remember, Mali and Congo and Burkina Faso have declared support for Niger in case there's going to be any military intervention. And this Russian group in Mali just further gives credence to the claim by a former Russian official that said that the Russian state conspired to facilitate the coup in Niger. And it's also important to note that the ECOWAS leaders have refused the proposed 3-year transition plan from the coupists. Yes, and as the matter is going, diplomats are still asking for peace talks, diplomatic talks, and the leader of the ECOWAS envoy, General Abdul Salam, has also said that we should not agitate and that the situation would not degenerate into a war. So we are keeping our fingers crossed and looking forward to how all of this unfolds.
Really sad, shocking story. I don't know. But the government is planning to curb rising inflation, and they plan to do that by cutting money supply, and that headline just threw me off. I wanted to get the details, and it was coming from the Minister for Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Mr. Wale Edu. And he hinted this yesterday, saying that in a way to reduce inflation on the side of the government, they want to reduce the growth of money, the supply of money in circulation, the printing of money. And I think it's important because the printing of money is what really increases inflation, but how they intend to go about it, the impact it's going to have on the Nigerians and the everyday impact on Nigerians is what I don't understand yet. But what is clear is they want to maintain discipline in money supply. The government is targeting that the government controls inflation by price and creates price stability. So, of course, we want price stability, we want economic growth, but we don't want a case of cutting money supply where we don't have access to cash or be able to have access to our monies when we need to. We remember what happened earlier in the year. So I would like the minister, through the spokesperson, to give us more information about how this would impact us on a daily basis, because we are drawing different meanings and we might be wrong in our thoughts on how the government wants to cut money supply.
All right. Moving now to the Punch. Anger as states warehouse rice delay palliative sharing. Narrow slump. Manufacturers' raw materials import hit 8 trillion naira. Associates warn slain senators' aid. Demand killer soldiers' arrest. Ogun doctors plan September 1st strike over unpaid allowance. Niger, AU plans fresh sanctions. Abdusalami warns against war. FG states local governments share 966 billion naira July revenue. And EFCC mom as the Azani faces bribery charge in the UK. But let me start with the major headlines. So, the Nigerian Labour Congress have lamented that Nigerians are hungry and that members they express their misgivings about the way the palliatives are being shared within the states. According to them, I was going to quote the specific person speaking here, I think, trying to get his name. The General Secretary, Nigerian Labour Congress, Chris Onyeka, said the delay of the federal government in providing palliatives has become very worrisome. According to him, he was against the fact that the government gave money to the governors to go and share because he feels that for him that's money for the boys, that the money will not get to Nigerians as it should. He says that they didn't involve the members of the Labour in the state chapters to be involved with the palliative conversations or even the sharing because according to the report, the Labour was actually part of the conversation on palliatives from the federal level, but on the states level, they were not involved at all, and is insisting that the fact that they handed this 5 billion naira to the governors in itself is a problem, and that Nigerians are not getting the palliatives that have been promised by the presidency.
Let them remember the 5 billion is a loan.
Some states, yeah, they keep forgetting that. Some states are also have started sharing. A few states have started sharing rice, maize to their farmers. And others have also complained they've not been able to reach it. So according to Labour, pretty much, they're just saying that their own members have not witnessed or seen palliatives being received amongst them. So they can't even ensure that they can't verify that it's being properly distributed across the states.
And they have a lot of members. So if they say they've not gotten any, then it's worrisome. But please, Nigerians, remember, the 5 billion is not a dash, it's a loan. States will refund it. And state governors, remember, you will pay back that loan.
Or something that they can keep, but the remaining they have to return it over a period of time. So it's not money for the boys, as Mr. Onyeka is trying to suggest to Nigerian public. Okay, which other story?
Punch, right? So here is...
Let me pause you for a second. I have to go on a break. When we come back, we'll take the story. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so Mariam had a story in Punch.
This is from Ogun State. So 150 doctors in the state-owned health facilities across Ogun State are planning on an indefinite strike and suspension of services beginning September 1. And their grouse is that they have been owed hazard allowance, and also arrears all the way back to January 2023. A letter was written to the governor of Ogun State and signed by the NMA chairman. He said that the government did not pay the hazard allowance with arrears in full from January 23. And he said that during the electioneering period, the governor had promised that he would do so. And now that it's over, they've just heard, in fact, they describe it as audio promises, realized that they were audio promises. And so they had given the state ultimatum, and now they're giving them another 21-day ultimatum, or they had given them a 21-day ultimatum that will be expiring 1st of September. And if nothing is done, if they are not paid in full, they're not even asking for half payments. If they're not paid in full, they will shut down their work. And so we're hoping to hear from Ogun State if there's a way that they can, have a conversation with them. As we know, the impact of doctors going on strike is quite heavy. And so I hope this is something that can be discussed and sorted out. And if there's arrears to be paid and the government has that, please, let's try and do so. And let's make it less let's try and have less conversations of salaries owed. You know, I just don't understand. If we have a budget for it, if we have worked for it, if there's the money for it, please, let's go ahead and make these payments.
Okay, another story in Punch.
This is a sad one. So associates of the slain Mr. Adeniyi Sonny, a senior aide to the Senator Solomon Adiola, are mourning him today. They are mourning him and they are burying him today. They had a candlelight procession for him and they are asking for justice. They have described the deceased as a dedicated and committed individual who served the senator for over 20 years. And in a separate statement on Monday, the senator is also alleging that his aide was killed by a syndicate of soldiers operating under the newly deployed commander of 9 Brigade, Ikeja Cantonment of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Insikan Edet, through the mounting of checkpoints and robbing of lone occupants. So the newspaper tried to reach out to the spokesperson of this division, but they didn't get any response. And it's important to recall that Mr. Sonny was murdered on his way home when he was stopped by some soldiers who asked for the documents of his car. He reached out to his wife to send the documents through WhatsApp, which he showed them. But what happened between then and when his body was found, we do not know, and we hope that we hope that justice is served.
Okay, moving on.
No, we're not moving on. Manufacturers are complaining. The Naira slum has affected a lot of manufacturers. They said that raw material import has hit 8 trillion Naira. The report has shown a steady reliance on the parallel market to access forex for manufacturers to be able to purchase key raw materials. They are mainly sugarcane, from Brazil, milk preparation from Ireland, mixtures of odoriferous substances from Ireland and Swaziland, and lubricating oils from Netherlands. These are the bulk of what is being imported. They also mentioned the fact that they could have loved to buy locally, but we don't have capacity to produce local raw materials, and that people are averaging about 51% of materials are bought locally, while 49%, almost 49% is being imported from all manufacturing companies. And they said if Nigeria invests in Raw Material Research and Development Council by the government, if they do that investment, it will reduce the forex that we are spending on importing raw material. As of now, most of the active pharmaceutical ingredients are being imported. So all pharmaceutical companies in Nigeria cannot produce any drug here without having to import the raw materials from the other countries. So, and these have to be sourced from parallel market because we don't have enough forex in the official window to be able to meet the demands of the economy. And the crude oil proceed, which is our major source of forex inflow, has been dwindling because we as a country have been unable to even meet the OPEC export quota. We have enough oil, but due to corruption, stealing of our crude oil, we can't even meet the OPEC quota given to us and be able to receive enough forex to meet our local needs. So manufacturers are groaning. As in, everywhere you look.
To Vanguard.
Layered.
Niger AU plans sanctions against junta supporters. Tinubu sent NIMT boss on terminal leave. Railway vandalism. NSCDC arrests 13 impounds railing sleepers worth 0.8 billion. 34 years after Obaseki settles late Ambrose Ali's benefits. UK police charges ex-petroleum minister Alison Madueke with bribery. Insecurity, IGP Makinde Olubadan set roadmap for community policing. And Wike to FCT officials, Wahala don't come, I'll increase your BP.
Let me take
Governor Wike in the building. No, governor, he's now minister.
Minister Wike, yes, Hurricane Wike is blowing hot in the FCT. He said that residents of Abuja are peeved by the growing level of filth. The hazardous transportation system in the nation's capital is horrible, and he specifically ordered the directors in charge of Abuja Environmental Protection Board, that's the AEFB, to clean up the city, saying it would be it would be the cause of his increase in blood pressure if he doesn't do it. Then on transportation, he has told the top officials in charge at the secretariat in prison. I mean, in pidgin, sorry. He spoke it in
prison them.
No. He spoke it in pidgin. He said, Wahala don't come. Say, Wahala don't come. He now said, I will ensure that Abuja gets the best. You will see projects upon projects that will be completed and not abandoned. I will not be a party to abandon projects. I will start the project. Where there's no money, we will look into our finances before we begin the project.
Okay,
I will begin a renewed hope.
Thank you, fantastic.
This Hurricane Wiki is just giving us the drama that we like at the moment.
All right, let me go to Edo State, Governor Obaseki. According to this report, he's known as the most pension-friendly governor. Anyway, so what happened? He has paid the benefits of the late Professor Ambrose Ali, the former governor of the state, the old Bendel State, actually. The first executive governor of the old Bendel State, now Edo and Delta States. After 34 years of his passing, according to the governor, he's the widow of Professor Ambrose Ali, turned 80 years in Birmingham, United Kingdom, where he went and visited. And he was not asking his children, what do you think I can give Mama for her 80th birthday? He said, the only woman's wish is that her husband's benefits be paid. He said, eh? Her benefits have not been paid. You've not paid 34 years. He said, they've not paid her benefits, and the family's benefits. He went back to Nigeria, wrote them a check, and then sent it to them. And his wife also attended. You know, just they were really happy to the fact that he was able to pay back all that the state had owed their family. They didn't release the amount here, but I'm happy that she was able to get that. This is her 80th birthday. She was able to get that gift. But according to him, he's known for being able to the best governor on pension-friendly governor. I have to confirm that. He doesn't owe pensions in the state, according to.
I think it's a good thing to.
And it's a good thing for that kind of person who has a legacy in the state. Should not be owed pensions at all. So I'm happy that
it's good to have one thing that people can say, okay, at least this is what you do. Yeah. So I'm taking this story. This is the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, said that they arrested 13 suspected railway vandals with large quantities of long rails and sleepers worth over 800 million. They said that they've been paraded alongside these 5 trucks that they had conveying all these large quantities of vandalized rails and sleepers. When they were arrested, they also offered to bribe the commander of the squad with 30 million naira, and he rejected. So because he rejected, we now know of this story. And you now see why they were talking about how bribery can affect us, especially developing countries. So if he had not rejected that, it would have just continued, you know, this would have just continued. So yes, we hope we are able to find out.
There's a thriving market.
Yeah, so we need to, apart from the market, we need to find out, somebody had to pay them. You know, there's somebody bigger that they are involved in. I hope that investigation can lead us to
the real kingpin.
Which is what Mike was saying yesterday, that we have to look for the small, don't catch the small fries, the big boys.
Catch them, they lead us to the big one.
Any other story in Vanguard? Should we move on quickly to the Nigerian Tribune? Let's find a story we've not taken. Tinubu to create 10 million jobs through humanitarian affairs, says Minister. Seek redeployment if you can't deliver Wike wants FCT directors. Back. FG State's local government share 966 billion naira in July allocation. Umahi orders work stoppage on Gadabiu Bridge. Gadabiu Bridge. AU suspends Niger over coup. Stop checking cargoes already cleared by customs. Shippers Council urges police. Yoruba group to Kwara governor. Please, Yeye Oshun, Talorun, others now. And NIMC boss DG sent on terminal leave as Tinubu appoints Koka Odushote to replace him. And they are in fresh trouble. Any story we haven't taken?
Yes.
In Tribune?
Okay. We have the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu. Every time I say her name, I remember she's just 36 years old. She was just, you know, in a statement in Abuja, she said that there's a, you know, her ministry is supposed to create a 10 million jobs, and that according to her, this will be achieved through different interventions and initiatives aimed at reducing poverty. She also says that the ministry's impact will have direct bearing on the people. She's also poised to always gauge the pulse of the people and attend to their needs, you know. She says that the humanitarian ministry seeks to ease human suffering and maintain, re-establish circumstances that honor and protect human dignity with a mission to develop good humanitarian policies and provide effective coordination for national and international humanitarian interventions. Lovely words to read, and I pray for her that she's able to do this, put everything together and lift 133 million Nigerians out of poverty. You have a huge job, you know, for you to do, and I hope that you're able to
We have to wrap up now, but there's a story that will caught my attention. The diaspora group identified as Yoruba One Voice has condemned the detention of Osun devotees, Efun Shetan Abebi, Oba Lowo Jimo, and popularly online presenter Tanto Lorun, calling on Kwara State Governor Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak to release them immediately. According to them, the police had detained them and described the arrest, the detention of the trio by the magistrate court in Ilorin for 30 days and 50 days, respectively, as travesty of justice and an act of intimidation that could lead to further crisis. They need to release these 3 people as soon as possible. Okay, that is all we can take on the front page review. When we return, move on to the hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so today a story caught our attention about a young lawyer who was accused by the NBA of posting videos and pictures of herself unclad and smoking marijuana. This lady, her name is Ifunanya Grant, I believe, Miss Ifunanya. And the story went viral, and she was a young female lawyer. Posted herself half nude pictures on social media, has attracted the attention of the Nigerian Bar Association, and they actually said that I'm trying to see the exact comment here. I can't find the comment exactly, but we'll get to that in a moment. But she bags herself as the baddest lawyer ever on social media. Now, obviously, many of us understand law as a very conservative profession, a noble profession, as they like to refer to themselves. And they're not very used to, you know, stuff like this, I would say. We've had situations where we've encouraged people to pursue their dreams, be all they can be who they are, and be there and say their truth and speak their truth. But when you have young people choosing their own lifestyle and still deciding to do the noble profession, how do we marry it? So you see a young girl who is doing her thing, posting on social media, having the half-nude photos, living her life as an adult. However, the profession she has chosen frowns at those kinds of pictures and videos. So what are your thoughts on it? And later on, we'll be having an SAN to enlighten us more on the ethics of that profession specifically, because we don't have Nima here to give us some insight. What are your own general thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think Ifunanya should be left alone by the NBA, or do you think she should have some kind of a redress to what she's done? What are your thoughts on it? You can call us on 081-764-1679, 0902-416-3440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweet. You know, it's so difficult for me to have this conversation because I'm just trying to how we can marry it, because I'm one of those people that believe that, listen, be yourself, and we encourage young people to do their thing, not wrong things, obviously. But in this situation, this is a young, beautiful girl who is living her life, and then she's now a lawyer that many parents will be proud of. She has a wig and gown. You know, she calls herself the baddest lawyer. She's proud of her new profession. But why is the profession itself having difficulty in marrying her regular life and her professional life? Why is it so difficult for us to match it together? And what are your own thoughts? Tokwe, you want to jump in?
Yeah, lawyers you know, the legal profession, they spend the years in the university conformed into wearing, you know, like you're not allowed to dress the way every other person in university dresses. You dress like a secondary school. Actually, they wear the white shirt. They've tried to make it more stylish, a few of them, but it's very restrictive because in actual fact, the legal profession, it requires restraint, it requires discipline, and it requires commitment to rights from being wrong. It requires you having values because you know the law enough to manipulate the law. So you must have enough ethics to be able to walk that fine thin line. And they restrained their wardrobe to drive home that point so that you carry the role that I am the law. You know the way they when you see lawyers, they say, the law, as a way to hail them. So we ought to see that when we see you. So and it's the girl, obviously, her social media page, how she portrays herself does not come across as someone who is cognizant of the fact that they drilled into her head for the number of years she was in university, law school to get the certificate. So like you, I want people to be able to freely express themselves. I feel like you can be slay today and totally brainy. Very brilliant. But I also understand the responsibility that to whom much is given, much is expected, and there are some careers that put the responsibility, pressure on you. So this, for me, is all shades of you are not a lawyer when you look like that. Maybe she will have a page that is incommunicado for that, but no, this is wrong.
So for me, I feel like this is a conversation about social media and the lines being blurred, social media and reality. Because the truth is that we all have our personal lives. So we're seated here, we're all dressed decently and appropriate and professionally for the show. But when we go to our homes, we dress the way that we feel most comfortable in a different way. And if they were to put cameras in our homes, maybe some people would think you have no right to be sitting at this table because of the way you dress at home. And so the question for me would be that, is it okay for the NBA to use your social media presence to determine if you are a good lawyer or a bad lawyer or a lawyer with values? If I am at the beach in my bikini and doing stuff, you know, if I'm hanging out at a concert and just doing what people that do at concerts do, is that right for the NBA to take those pictures in my personal life and determine that I am not a good lawyer because of that? And then it will lead to the next conversation of, should I then have a social media presence that is of two different types? One where I keep only those who are close to me or private to me. And then if you, MBA, finds yourself there, it will be, waiting carry your eye, go there. And then I have one that shows who I am as a lawyer and person, because she couldn't have been dressing in these pictures to go for lectures. There was no way they would have called her to bar if she was dressing like this physically and sitting in class, you know, or attending to lectures and lecturers talking to her. So obviously there's a private life, you know, and so that's, for me too, is the question. Have we completely blurred the line? Is social media now exactly who we are all over? So.
Let me come to you.
Yes, so the first time that I saw Ifunanya's Instagram page, months before the NBA reacted, I just thought she was one of those girls, thirsty girls online that just wanted to, you know, show off nice body and, of course, looking for men to devour. But when I scrolled down, out of curiosity, you know, you just look, you know, check what's there. And then I saw that she actually studied law and she was called to bar. So I'm thinking, what actually led to this? You've studied, you know, for 5 years in the university, so much hard work, and then you now resort to posting half-naked pictures online and smoking marijuana. There was even a particular post of hers, I think she has taken them down now. I saw her selling Rizzlers. You know, Rizzlers are selling Rizzlers. Rizzlers are those papers that they use to smoke the cannabis, and then she has crushers that she's selling. So I'm thinking, is this business more lucrative than the law that you studied for 5 years? And it just goes to show how these professions are being remunerated. I don't think that these professions are highly remunerated. They haven't painted, you know, that prestige of being a lawyer. Because if she knew what was at stake, I don't think she would want to pick her social media presence over the money or what she stands to gain as a lawyer.
We'll come to that in a moment.
The drug dealing.
The fact that now we have social media. Back then, they didn't have social media. A lot of lawyers probably had all sort of lifestyles that we didn't see it. But because when they wear their wig and gown, we don't know what they do, just like you said. So is it because of the new world? So should we therefore review these policies, these ethics of the profession? Because in this new world we're in right now, everything is blurred, as you have said it. So how do you differentiate? I mean, does this make her less of a lawyer? What if she's actually the baddest lawyer that you can get to defend you? And yes, she has her own lifestyle, but is it possible that NBA must confront the fact that we're in a new world and people are different? Let me take this call from Abdullahi and I'll come to you, Tope. Hello, thanks for calling, Abdullahi.
Hello?
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Actually, my name is Abdullahi Joe. I'm calling from Katsina State.
I need some volume, please.
Yeah, my name is Abdullahi Joe, just from Katsina State. In fact, I'm the assistant caller. Yeah. I'm trying to appreciate people are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Mario and Yako.
Yeah.
They are doing a very good job, actually. I want you to keep up Allah's foundation. I'm very, very much happy with your petition. Keep doing a very good job. My regards to me, Akasha, and the rest. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Abdullahi.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say, right, because I had talked about nudity. This is a new information that we're hearing about her selling drugs, and you know how we are about
Not the
drugs.
drugs, the Rizzlers, the cannabis products, the paper.
Yeah,
and
she's part of the she's part of the line, the assembly line of
What I wanted
cannabis.
to say was,
So I'm just
let's
saying
even
that
deal with it differently. Let's put the drug part of our life separately and talk about the nudity part of our life separately. So let's say that she is a lawyer, but loves to, she's body positive. That's the word. In case you are on my age and above, that you don't know what body positive is there's a movement, body positivity movement. They don't pack anything. They just wear nets and open everywhere. They're loving their body and accepting their body. Maybe she identifies as a body positive person and she wants to be free on social media. And she's nude and she still talks about her legal practice. Let's deal with that part. I have told a lot of young people nowadays, you don't understand. Your social media is your CV. Your social media is more vibrant than your CV self. Your social media tells me about you more than what you say with your mouth. I use your social media and I can tell you your life history. The truth is, psychologists now work with this digital social media creators to be able to detect. They know when you will get pregnant based on what you are researching and what you are watching. So your social media is your life. It tells me what you are thinking even when you don't know what you are thinking. So the fact that you are putting it there means that you are exposing your innermost secrets to the entire world. Wise people have created compartments. You can have 7 pages, you can have several pages. You have your public life and your private life. And you keep it, like Mariam said, keep your public life the way you want people to perceive you. And keep your private life the way you keep it to the people that are close to you.
But shouldn't we judge? So, for example, if I want to hire a lawyer who is unclad, who is like this, it's my choice. I say, you know what, I'm going to you, Ifunanya, because I believe you're smart enough to defend me. Now, I don't see that. So why, therefore, are we judging based on the principles or the ethics of the profession? If I choose, I'm not
finished my point, but I wanted to first say that you can have that separately because it is allowed, because you are entitled to. But if you now choose to merge the two of them, you will face the consequences, which is that people will judge you based on your outfit, which is you might lose your job based on what you posted. People have lost their job for tweeting. They didn't know their boss was on Twitter. They tweeted an annoying statement per time. We saw the way Bosu was grilled for something he tweeted years back. So social media is influencing your job, your life, your everyday, and you might be made to give accounts. It might make you lose your job.
So what is one man's meat is another man's point. So for example, if you tweet about, maybe let's just say you are pro-life or pro-choice or pro-LGBTQ, for example, in certain quarters, they won't hire you. But in certain quarters, they will. So so to you, you might judge me that I am half naked. But somebody else will be able to look beyond that and say, you know what, I want to hire you for it. So why are we therefore judging based on that? Because what I'm saying is that this new world is so blurred That we're no more judging
blurred,
each
though.
other.
No, social
This
media and
social
reality
media
is blurred.
new world we are in right now
it's the same.
has,
Social
media
some,
is blurred.
has somewhat blurred everything, where things are changing pretty fast.
Yeah.
So those of you who are judging someone like this today, in the next 5 years, you'll probably be a minority. I'm just saying
Yeah,
the reality.
you know, so this is just dealing with the pictures that I see, which look like beach pictures, like being at the pool pictures. And my question would be, if she had taken these pictures at the pool or at the beach or people like that, would it be a problem for NBA, or is it a documentation of it on social media that is the problem? So if I know that, this lawyer, fantastic lawyer, but we hung out with her last week and we were by the beach, we were at the pool, she had on this really lovely bikini that she wore, would it be a problem for her job? But the problem is that she documented it and she put it on social media. So I think we can put it on the table that now social media will be used as your CV, as you said, will be used as your CV. But then we are now talking to very young people who are coming up, who have always, while they were in school, have always used social media as a way to just document their life. They are having fun, they're excited. But now that you're going for, so, you know, one of them can come and say, but it's unfair. This is my life. This is how I've lived my life. And then you're not judging me on what's on my CV. I've come before you now. I've told you my job experience. I've told you my school and how well I've done and every other experience I have. And it's not important because you have seen pictures of how I used to hang out. So for me, I feel that NBA may have a problem with legally, you know, instilling that. I
Let me
think
take
they
this
will
call from
have.
Adekunbi. He's been holding for a while. Thanks for calling, Adekunbi.
Yeah, good morning.
Sorry for keeping you. Go ahead.
Welcome. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, well, what I want to say, I'm sure when you go into a profession, I'm an accountant. When you go into a profession, you sign some oaths. You sign some. By the time you are taking up all those, by the time they are conferring you or instituting you into those professions, they give you an allegiance. You as a member of that, because you start as an ambassador, you portray that profession that you carry. So irrespective of whether it's your individual life or it's your social media life, I guess your social media life is like you even portray where you think nobody is watching. It defines you in the real sense of it. So if you are saying that it's a responsibility that you have put on yourself to say, I want to become a particular member of a body. So you must abide by the rules and guide the ethics of that profession. If your profession is saying you don't do this, and you are willing, because before you are inducted into those bodies, they already told you these are the things that you are responsible to do. Right. And it's so unfortunate that we have this to discuss this for a lawyer that knows the law, for a lawyer that knows what is expected of the person.
Thank you very much, Adekunbi. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So last weekend, I'll come to you in a minute, Damola. Last weekend, I attended a pageantry conference hosted by Winfrey Agbeleshi of Wake Up Nigeria. And one of the things they're trying to promote is the fact that beauty pageants and role models are also, they're not airheads. They're smart, intelligent people that deserve some respect. And we're able to see people who are doctors, who are professionals within the technology industry, so many of them. Now imagine you have a surgeon who is a doctor and she's also a pageant. She's a model on the runway pageant. And then you see her walking down the runway in her bikini, and she's the surgeon that is about to do operation on somebody, that your loved one. You look at her and you're wondering, is that not the same surgeon? You're thinking, but the world is changing such that we are understanding that this runway model, too, has every right to stay on that operation table and do her work as a surgeon. So that's the world we're living in right now. So this sexy lady who has put out a picture as a sexy girl also has every right to stand in the courtroom and say, I can defend my client because she's smart enough to do that. Now, going by what the other callers have said, that the ethics of professions are also really important because you've signed and you've agreed. So the conversation, therefore, is that should we begin now, I mean, if that is so, should we begin now to reconsider understanding the new world we are living in? Or should we go back to that conservative aura that the legal profession or all these various professions give you as well?
Would you want your doctor to, would you go for a surgery and you are going into the surgery, your doctor was just drinking shekpe?
No, that's not different now. No. You are saying no.
That's freedom.
Not oranges and apples here. Let's see if my doctor and I'd seen him the week before. Maybe we are at, well, no, I don't go to but just somewhere, and then maybe at the place he has shorts on, he's playing football, no shirt on. Then I'll be worried because he's now my surgeon. No,
actors,
that's different.
Being nude is not a problem.
Drinking is different.
What I'm trying to establish.
If I see her, even in her wig and gown, drinking and about to go, that's a problem.
It may not be a problem. So for some people, being under the influence means that they are very
under the influence is different from nudity or half nudity.
Sorry,
damn.
No, it's totally fine. No matter how we try to draw the line between social media and our professional lives, it is still important to note that your social media is used for profiling. When you want to go to the embassy or when you're applying for a visa, they ask you for your social media page, Instagram, Facebook, because this person does not, they haven't had an interface with you, but they want to understand your level of reasoning, how you behave. They can tell to a certain extent with what you post on social media. And I still want to bring this matter to the issue of remuneration of that law profession, because we have a lot of lawyers being churned out every year, and over 50% of them end up as charge and bail lawyers. We have my favorite content creator, Lai Wasabi. You know, he mirrors the life of the charge and bail lawyer with his oversized coats and shoes that have seen better days. We have young lawyers that are paid 40,000 naira in big law firms. They are being used for documentation and yes, but the challenge is that these kids, like this new generation, that's the Gen Zs, they can't see that profession as being prestigious. So they would rather choose to be a content creator or a social media model. Exactly. So that prestige
ethics was based on has been somewhat eroded in this generation. That's what you're suggesting.
No, I'm talking about the remuneration. Like they need to revisit.
That's across board. Everybody has issues.
Even the doctors are complaining that young doctors are not well paid. Young broadcasters are not even paid.
Then we should look at it across board. Exactly.
Old ones too. So remuneration is a problem. That shouldn't make us lose values. Remuneration, but not getting well paid does not mean that it does not change who we are or change the guidelines of the profession. An actor might be doing free acting.
But let's go back to the point I thought she was making, which is the fact that
prestige.
The prestige that comes with this noble profession that our parents grew up and we grew up seeing somewhat maybe has been eroded because these young guys are not seeing a lawyer like that anymore. So
absolutely.
They don't, because if you were a lawyer back then, you carry with such sense of responsibility, but now maybe not.
You never need a lawyer. And when you see the way I've had this year, my lawyer has been working just on Tuesday. That's yesterday. He still had a meeting with family members to deal with issues for me. So I know how important a lawyer is.
Okay.
I cannot joke with lawyers. The reason somebody can be saying is no longer prestigious is because you've never had a law case. You've not seen a lawyer fight for you and got you justice. But when
this lawyer that you are proud of and you have, how many of them? Would you have been bothered if after this, maybe today on a Wednesday, you now find a picture of him wearing bomb shorts? Will you stop him from working for you?
So
will you stop him from?
I will look at him differently.
Let me take Garba's call.
I will look
Thanks
at
for calling, Garba. You're live. Oh, I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
I will look at him differently. But I wanted to say something.
Look at him differently. I'm talking about the law.
Please, I said something during the break, and it was very important. We are not judging your life. The NBA, I don't believe, is even judging her life or what she's doing in private. The NBA is judging the fact that you are representing us. You have put on your social media page publicly that you are a lawyer and you are proud of it. Then after that post, you put a nude picture, a semi-nude picture, it does not
He even
align.
carries a gun.
It does not align.
He carries a
with-
gun on a social media
So,
page,
all
right?
This we need to know.
It does not align with our
Yes.
brand. We're even talking about the nudity. It doesn't align with the brand that we want to portray as who we are. So that is the problem. I cannot be a priest. I wear bomb shorts.
Okay.
Hello, I'm a child of God. I speak in church, I speak on the pulpit, I
Right.
pray, I speak in tongues.
And you
I
wear
wear bomb shorts and I'm on the beach. I don't do bikini. My husband did not agree and I don't have the body for it yet. But
When you
I
do,
will never, ever, ever post a bikini picture of myself on social media because it does not align
So the point-
with what I am.
okay,
Do
everything you
understand?
said is right, right?
So that's the
but
issue.
also, I'm trying to make a suggestion to you to think about it deeply, in the sense that we know, and I don't want to mention her name here, of a lady who is
all admire.
sexy. We all admire her, sexy to the bone, and then she was hired by an international organization, which she's heading today. In this, our Nigeria. So, and you said that she has 2 pages, one that's public page and private page. But here, the thing is that somebody hired that lady.
Yeah, but she has
Somebody had seen her sexiness and all she had, and made her the head of
But they
this
knew she was
institution
wise
in this
enough
country.
to separate it. That's the thing.
And put it on private.
As we're
Okay, I
giving
think-
our Gen Z's freedom,
Yes.
we must give them discernment and discipline and responsibility.
Right.
Gen Z's, you have freedom. You can do whatever you want to do. But in that freedom, they say absolute freedom. Kunle Shorenyo, the height of freedom is insanity. You want to be free, naked yourself on the streets, then you know you're mad. So if you want to be free, you are insane. If a free person understands I'm free, but I choose to constrain myself in this way because I'm a responsible person. So that's what we want.
Okay,
I
let me
agree.
go on a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll try to bring in our guests, get some perspective. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so join us on the show to discuss more is the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN, and the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Yakubu Maikyau. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. So one of the reasons why we brought you on is to discuss all the various issues concerning the legal profession in Nigeria, the issues concerning stalled cases, the corruption many have accused various lawyers of, and so many more. But first, before we go into that, we'd like to hear your thoughts on our hot topic, the young lady Ifunanya Grant, who NBA had accused her of posting unclad photos of herself, nudity and all, and being a lawyer, a young lady who was called to bar. What are your thoughts on that? And we had a conversation concerning the fact that, yes, people have their private lives, but how do we understand or how do we help them to navigate the privacy of their lives and their professional lives?
Well, thank you very much.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes. So thank you very much. I understand the hot topic that you're talking about has to do with the alleged act of professional misconduct by one of our colleagues. As you've already noted, the Nigerian Bar Association has taken a decision. The National Executive Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association has taken a decision to make a report of that conduct of our colleague before the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee. And because we have done that, the Nigerian Bar Association cannot be a judge in its own cause. So I cannot comment on it. I have my thoughts, no doubt, but because this has been subjected to professional scrutiny, that is to say, the body set up by law to examine the conduct of lawyers and pitch it side by side with the rules of professional conduct and determine whether or not it was proper for the lawyer to have conducted himself or herself in that particular manner. I must refrain from making any comments on it.
All right.
Okay, sir, I want to specifically ask a question because while we were discussing or like trying to understand this, a few questions came up in our minds regarding if it is against, when you get signed, when you get called to bar, is it against the ethics of the legal practice? How is dressing or indecent dressing, inappropriate dressing, something that is against the legal practice? Like we know for doctors, they sign this Hippocratic, I don't know the word, oath. And when they sign that oath, the agreement is that they must not watch someone die. They have to do whatever it is in their power to protect life. Is there something like that regarding the legal practice and their dressing?
Personal life.
Generally, personal
yes,
life.
so the rules of professional conduct actually is particular about dressing. And we are taught even in the Nigerian law school that you have to be representative of your profession in the way you dress. The profession is a noble profession. You have to appear decent. You have to appear responsible. So yes, there is that clear demand on everyone that is called to the bar who has now come under the operation of the rules of professional conduct to make sure that he conducts himself honorably, he dresses decently and responsibly. Now, whether or not this particular case falls short of that standard, like I said, I cannot share that thought because I am a complainant against this lawyer on this alleged conduct, and I will leave it at that.
Okay, now let's go to the law profession in Nigeria. One of the things we discuss often on the show is how important the judiciary is for us to actually have a sustained democracy. One of the issues we've had in Nigeria is that corruption cannot be totally defeated if our judicial system is not effective and people are not probably convicted for the crimes they commit. One of the major issues that many would say the new AGF or even you would have to do right now is the fact that many cases are stalled for years for various reasons, technicalities, maybe they keep postponing the date. What do you think can be done to strengthen the current judicial system as it is today?
Well, thank you very much for that question. And let me make the point from the very onset that the responsibility of anyone that has been given the task to prosecute any criminal matter is not to achieve conviction at all costs. Because the prosecutor equally has the responsibility where he discovers in the course of his investigation that the person against whom a crime is alleged, there are facts that can help him in his defense. That prosecutor is under a duty to make those facts available to the defense for the defendant to use it for the purpose of his defense. So it's important to make it very clear that the objective is not to secure conviction. It is to pass through the process set by law for the purpose of determining the justice of that case at that particular time. And so, in that particular process, before the matter comes to court, a lot of things would have happened from the point of investigation, the collection of evidence, the advice that is given, and then the matter or the charge is filed before the court, and evidence is led by witnesses before the court. Now, the judge is under strict obligation to confine himself to the matters that are presented before the court. And when those facts are presented in terms of evidence, the responsibility of the court is to look at the nature of that offense, what are the ingredients of that particular offense, has the prosecution satisfied the ingredients of those of that particular offense, so that, and so it could be said that the offense has been proved beyond reasonable doubt, and only then can a pronouncement of conviction be made.
Okay.
So when the public sees the outcome of any proceedings from the court, the public must know that, number one, irrespective of what you know out there about what happened, the circumstances that led to the commission of that offense, it is only the things that are brought to the knowledge of the court in the case that will form the basis of the determination that the court would make one way or the other.
All right.
Great. So let's talk about financial autonomy. The judiciary literally depends on the executive for funding. So help us understand how this lack of financial autonomy is affecting transparency and the true independence of the judiciary.
Well, we all know we need resources to drive any process of governance. The legislature needs resources for it to function effectively and efficiently. The executive does also require resources for it to operate within the ambit of what the Constitution has prescribed for it to do. Similarly, the judiciary also requires resources for it to function within the ambit of what the Constitution has prescribed for the judiciary to do, in terms of the structures that have to be put in place, in terms of the development of the capacity of the judges and other workers that support the administration of justice and all. And so resources are very important. Funding is very important, and the autonomy of that funding is also important. But a situation where the judiciary would have to go cap in hand, begging for resources in order to perform its own constitutional responsibility, certainly impairs on the independence of the judiciary. And where you find someone who does not respect the independence of the judiciary in the executive, then such a person will begin to manipulate the process and use the fact that I have to give you this fund for you to do what you are supposed to do, to bargain with the judiciary. And that is why the judiciary has insisted that for us to function properly, don't pauperize us.
All right.
But it will seem to me that over the years, that is what has been done. To know that the judiciary, the last time that the salaries and allowances of judges and justices in this country were reviewed was in 2007.
Wow.
Notwithstanding the inflation, notwithstanding the concrete economic realities. And if it isn't to pauperize the judiciary so that you render them incapable of performing their responsibility, then I wonder what that is.
Right.
But we know that the executive has had review of their salaries. The legislature, we hear that they receive millions of naira at the end of every month, but that is not what you hear about the judiciary. Would it surprise you to know that a justice of the Supreme Court received just about 702 or 750,000 naira monthly as his salary with the workload that is in the Supreme Court? And to know that it is the judiciary, whether you like it or not, that is the truth. It is the judiciary that has kept this country together by reason of their pronouncement over the disputes that we have seen.
Yeah. All right.
Since independence.
Let me get a few more questions for you.
So there is a deliberate attempt to pauperize the judiciary over the years, and that is why the judiciary has been denied its own financial independence. But I must salute the courage of the judiciary for standing up to the situation in spite of that. And you remember the last administration came up with Executive Order number 10, and that became a subject of litigation before the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court struck it down to say that, yes, we know that we've been denied the resources that we require to function properly, but if you have to give us resources, if you have to fund the judiciary, you have to do it properly. That is a demonstration of discipline. Even though they've been pauperized, they've been rendered incapable of performing their responsibility. But the Supreme Court demonstrated responsibility. They demonstrated discipline.
Right.
You don't just come and, as it were, maybe rub a little bit of oil on our lips with Executive Order 10 that we should be giving this amount of money, while doing so also breaches the Constitution. The Supreme Court said no. It seemed to us that this is made to benefit us, but we will simply stay with our oath to defend the Constitution of this country.
All right, go ahead.
So I thank the judiciary for doing all of that.
All right.
And remaining resolute in the performance of its own responsibility in spite of the conspiracy, I should say, to pauperize the judiciary.
All right.
Okay, sir. There's something that I see often and has bothered me, in past administrations, and I think even very recently, which is the judiciary would give an order, either bail conditions or ask someone to be released, and then we have executive agencies who seem to have superiority over the judiciary. Case in point, we have situations with DSS. Somehow DSS seem to have superiority over judiciary. And I wonder, as the MBA, how this is being addressed and whose fault is it? Is it that the judiciary itself has weakened itself because of corruption? Is it that the judiciary is not strong enough to demand that, the rule of law be followed? How are you even addressing it?
Well, let me correct the impression here. There is no institution that is above the judiciary. Not the DSS, not any institution that is above the judiciary. And also, let me make the point. The most uncivilized thing that any person or any organ of government would do is to show disrespect to the orders of court. Because doing so is an invitation to chaos and to anarchy. And I want to repeat, that is the most uncivilized thing that anybody would do. But let us not forget that there are processes. There are processes. And those processes must be complied with within the ambit of what the law has provided. And for every case you see, it is important for us to have a holistic view before we can pass any assessment or judgment on the conduct of any particular agency. And so questions have been asked, particularly with respect to the issue of the DSS vis-a-vis the MFLA matter. I know that matter is in court, even though that particular charge has been withdrawn, where the issue between the DSS and the officers of the correctional facility happened in Lagos. But let me say that none of these organs is bigger than the judiciary, and all of them are subject to the orders of the court, which must be obeyed at all times. And every single one of us, including the institutions, have a constitutional duty to comply and enforce the order of court.
Okay.
What is the MBA doing? The MBA consistently engages with these institutions to let them know that you cannot show disrespect to the processes of court, disrespect to the order of court, and expect that we would have order in the society.
All right. Okay.
Right.
Let me.
So that,
Sorry, because of time, we have so many questions for you. So I wanted to get a few more questions for you before you run off. There's this long-standing debate, and I'd like to hear your stand or NBA's stance on it between the role of the Attorney General of Federation and the Minister of Justice. There's always that clash we've heard for over the years. What's the position of the NBA on this?
okay, I think I picked that, but right now I'm hearing maybe another news item playing.
Your ears. Oh, I do apologize for that. Maybe we'll go on a quick break. When we come back, hopefully that will be sorted so we can speak to you properly. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we still have our guest, Mr. Yakubu Maikyau, SAN, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, still with us. Sir, you're going to answer my question now. Go ahead, please.
Yes, would you permit me to correct the way you pronounce that name?
Maikyau.
Maikyau.
It's
Maikyau.
Yakubu Chonoko Maikyau.
Maikyau. All right. I do apologize.
Yes. No, it's all right. I mean, I get this most of the time. So you are asking about the position of the Nigerian Bar Association on the merger of the office of the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice.
Yes.
For us, it is about getting the right person in the office, someone who appreciates the responsibilities trusted on him by the Constitution to function in that particular office, completely separated from the politics that is involved. Yes, agreed, it's the president that appoints such a person into office to function, but such a person must understand that of all the ministers in the cabinet, he is one that enjoys constitutional prescription, meaning he's the only person that has been mentioned in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so such a person must bring to bear that understanding in the office and know that all that must motivate his conduct in that office is the desire to do justice. As Attorney General and then Minister, is the Chief Minister, the Chief Law Officer of the Federation, and Minister in that Temple of Justice. So for us, there is nothing wrong. It's about understanding, it's about building that institution that would function only motivated by what would bring justice to the people. And I do not see any reason why someone who is appointed Attorney General cannot also function as Minister of Justice. Because as Minister of Justice, what that reminds you constantly is that my responsibility is to justice. Yes, I've been appointed by Mr. President, but I have a duty to advise the President on the justice of a case at every particular time.
Okay. All right.
And whenever I get myself involved in any assignment, it is the justice of that matter that should motivate what I do, the advice that I give, the suggestions that I make. And let me also say that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in the choice of Prince Lateef Fagbemi, did not make a mistake. That is a round peg in a round hole, someone that has conducted himself with the highest respect for standard and professionalism.
Okay, that's good.
He knows what he is expected to do in that office. And we have no doubt as a bar that Lateef Fagbemi will make this country proud in the functioning of that office as the Attorney General of the Federation.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Tope.
Sir, there's the question I want to ask. You know, we've been talking about how to strengthen the judiciary, and we've said it over and over again that judiciary is like holds the society together. You mentioned it yourself. We don't have, it's a last resort for common man, you know, equity, justice, all that stuff. But you mentioned one of the problems being financing the judges. And there are allegations that the big sands, the well-paid lawyers, the lawyers themselves are the clog in the wheel of getting justice for Nigerian citizens, where we have lawyers pull up cases, get this word called perpetual injunction, especially in the controversial case of former governor of Rivers State, Peter Odili, where the court has granted him immunity, blanket immunity from being able to address the corruption cases that EFCC could have brought against him. I want you to address the challenge of lawyers understanding the law and manipulating the law to the advantage of alleged criminals in Nigeria. Thank you.
So let me make this point. And perhaps I should start by saying that where there is a determination by the court, rightly or wrongly, it is only within our constitutional structure. It is only another court that is higher than the court that had made that determination that can undo what has been done. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your standing in the profession. You do not have the right to seek to change what that court has done. You can go to the academia and do a scholastic examination of that thing that the court has done. But it is not within my remit to look at the decision of the court and say that the decision is wrong or right. But again, I agree with you that there has been the problem of the understanding of the true ideal of the members of the legal profession. And what is this true ideal? The clergy, the profession of the clergy, the political profession, and the legal profession were three professions for which no money was paid for those who practice that profession. And so for the legal profession, it was Sir Shapara Williams that aptly captured the true ideal of a legal practitioner. And he said that the legal practitioner lives for the direction of his people and the advancement of the cause of his country. And that was why initially lawyers don't receive fees. And that is also the reason why the profession was only meant for the aristocrats. But that has certainly changed. The profession has been commercialized, but the true ideals of that profession can still be maintained if members of the legal profession remain fixated on the need to serve justice. We are agents to the person of justice, and it is when we fix our gaze, when we set our eyes and focus on the attainment of justice, that we would ensure that no matter what we are paid, it is not going to be the motivation for what we do. So, to that extent, I would say that for those that we find who misconduct themselves in the process of representing their clients, it is because they have lost focus on the true ideal for which they are called to live, that is, to give direction to the people and the advancement for the cause of this nation. So, I know that there are complaints here and there about lawyers who misconduct themselves, and I know that there are some of them who do misconduct themselves in the conduct of the cases for their clients. We can see that, we receive complaints, and that we always forward to the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee to deal with it. And I just want to say that as Nigerian Bar Association, we would not close our eyes to any case of professional misconduct reported to us. Right. If it is a misconduct that is reported against a judge, we would make sure that We follow up with the National Judicial Council, that is the constitutional body set up to deal with issues of discipline for judges. And if it is for lawyers, we would go to the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee. And for one who is also a senior advocate of Nigeria, the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee is there. Number one, such a person, if found wanting, can be stripped of his rank as senior advocate of Nigeria. And the LPDC, which is the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, if he is also found wanting in the determination of any allegation against the council, the appropriate punishment will be meted on the council. And we are committed to that. This administration is known for zero tolerance for professional misconduct.
Right.
Okay. So let's get your thoughts on the alleged attempts to bribe the chairperson of the Election Petitions Tribunal in Kano, Floral Azenge, in relation to so many accusations against lawyers that try to induce judgments in favor of their clients. So how many lawyers have been prosecuted in relation to bribery and corruption charges? What does the NBA Constitution say about this? And what is the association doing to ensure that these rules are being adhered to?
So, number one, it is professional misconduct for anybody to try to compromise any judge. It is not about the NBA Constitution. It is also a crime for you to attempt to do that. And that is why, as the president of the bar, I have repeatedly said in different fora, if you have any allegation against any judge, please do well to give us the information and we will take it up. Similarly, with respect to this allegation against a lawyer or lawyers who attempted to bribe the judge at the tribunal in Kano, I directed the chairman of the NBA branch in Kano to write to the judge. If you said someone who is also a senior advocate of Nigeria attempted to bribe you, that judge must know that any attempt to cover up that particular lawyer is also professional misconduct in itself. That means the judge who refuses to give information about the lawyer who attempted to bribe the judge is also colluding to pervert the course of justice. So we have requested for the information. That is the cooperation that we need from the bench. If anyone approaches the bench to seek to compromise the bench, let us have that information about that lawyer. And I say the same thing for those who lay accusations against judges. If any judge approaches you and asks you to give him money or do one thing in exchange for judgment, a favorable judgment, let us know. Make that evidence available. That is the least that any lawyer or any judge would do in the help against the fight against corruption.
Right.
So that is my thought on it. We have written, we are expecting that information is going to be made available to us, and you can be rest assured that whoever that counsel is, if we have that information, we will file a complaint against that lawyer before the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee.
All right.
And we have no doubt that if that allegation is proven, the appropriate punishment will be meted on the lawyer.
Right.
So this question, I feel like you've answered it in responses to many other questions before. But I would just like to know maybe a few you just list out. What are the reforms you would like to see that the new Minister of Justice and Attorney General work on? Like, what is it that the NBA would like to see differently? What are the reforms you're looking forward to? Just maybe give us 3 that, expect.
Well, now that affords me the opportunity to talk about the upcoming conference of the Nigerian Bar Association, the annual general conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. And the theme of the conference is getting it right, charting a course for Nigeria's nation building. And we have a session that is curated with the Attorney General of the Federation on justice reform, the agenda for the reform of the justice sector in Nigeria. We want to see a holistic reform in the entire justice sector in this country, be it the prosecuting agencies. We need to see a situation where the person who is investigating the offense is not the same person who is prosecuting the offense. The Honorable Attorney General, in his screening before the Senate, did mention that, and that is a welcome development for us as a bar, because that is something that must be done. The issue of correctional facility, the prison, there ought to be prison reform. And in the forefront of all of this is the salaries and allowances of judicial officers. In fact, that is a matter of emergency in this country. That a justice of the Supreme Court, it is shameful to even mention it, with all the responsibilities that have been trusted on them, receive 750,000 naira every month. That is what we've been paying them. And there is no judicial officer in this country that has had his salaries and allowances reviewed since 2007. Then it is pathetic. It is pathetic. It is almost fraudulent to expect the judiciary to perform its responsibility with the way it's been neglected. So these are the kind of reforms that we are looking at. Put the judiciary in a place where it would only be justice-focused. The decisions that would come out of the courts would be decisions that would be reflective of the justice of every situation. And then those that are given responsibilities to do one thing or the other in the justice administration in this country are properly taken care of, so that they also would not be distracted. They would focus on the need for them to do what they are supposed to do, only to satisfy the demand of justice. And I said to the Honorable Attorney General that the Nigerian Bar Association would support him because we know who he is, we know what he represents. The bar is happy, we are proud, and we are there to support him through the justice reform agenda that he's coming on board with, in order to make sure that the entire system is overhauled. And that is why we were deliberate in curating this session, where the Attorney General would have interaction with other members of the executive and legislature. We've invited the Senate President, some governors that are lawyers, to come and discuss that justice, the reform in the justice sector in this country. Because only then can we continue to have prosperity in this country. Our economy is dependent on the kind of justice that we have in this country. And
Okay. Sir, can you hear me? Oh, I want to be sure he's still there. Hello, sir. Are you there? All right. So let me get to just two questions in one so that we wrap up very quickly. I've heard about the watered-down judgments given by judges in recent times. I've attended a few of these conferences where a lot of lawyers have complained that back in the day, you know, when you read a judgment, you understand clearly the decision, the thought that went behind every case. But in these days, the judgments seem a bit watered down. What are we doing to get maybe more quality judges, I would say, or maybe more quality judgment from these our judges? That's one. The second question I was going to ask was a very disheartening observation that out of the 685 SANs in our country, only 29 are women. So 4%, I think it's 4.2% of the lawyers who are senior advocates of Nigeria since 1975 are women. Only 29.
Terrible.
That's quite disheartening.
Terrible.
What are you doing, or what do you plan to do or are you saying that there are no women who are deserving of the role of SAN or the award or the honor of SAN? That's two questions in one.
Yes, so thank you very much. And that is a very important question, something that is very close to my heart. as a person, and also someone who privileged to be the president of the bar at this time. By the special grace of God, where we have started doing something in that respect.
Okay.
But you must also understand that the rank of the senior advocate is not given as an appointment.
It's earned.
It is something for which you have to work for, satisfy certain requirements, and then you apply. And to a large extent, I would say it has to do with the number of applications that have been submitted by our female colleagues. But again, the male folks in the profession must be deliberate in encouraging our female colleagues in satisfying the requirements and applying. And we must also not forget the fact that in our African setting, and Nigeria is not different, we have certain cultural and maybe religious restrictions or limitations that have been responsible for the low applications that we see, because for you it is quite a huge task satisfying that requirement, doing cases in all the tiers of the court, from the High Court to the Supreme Court. So building a career in the legal profession that puts you on that trajectory to go to the peak of the profession as a senior advocate has been quite challenging for our female colleagues. You find someone who has to combine dealing with not only the husband, the children at home, and combining it with the demand of building that career. But what are we doing? We're encouraging our colleagues. I mean, I don't want to, I would leave it for some of our colleagues that I know we have been talking on this and what we have done to encourage them, and we are doing that. And in no time, by the special grace of God, I know we've sown that seed that would guarantee.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Now,
I would have loved for you to
let me just say very quickly about watered down judgments. I don't know who makes that decision. We are concerned really about the appointment of justice. The appointment of judges has to be merit-based and all of that. But you see, when lawyers come on television and begin to talk about watered down judgments, it also smacks of professional misconduct. Because most of these lawyers that I see come to talk to you on television, if you ask them, and I've witnessed certain interviews with some of our colleagues, even senior colleagues at that, who would come and begin to talk about judgments, castigate not just the judgment, but the justices that have written that judgment, even before reading the judgment. That is highly irresponsible. How do you talk about something you haven't read? And in most cases, we hide under this narrative that we have sold to the public that the judiciary is corrupt. So we lawyers, because we are also not held professionally negligent when we misconduct ourselves in the conduct of our cases, it becomes very convenient, even when we fail to do what we are supposed to do as lawyers, to simply say, well, what happens now, the judge has been compromised, that is why the judgment turned out this way. We should interrogate what the lawyers have presented before the court. And it is what we have presented that the judges have to work on. Of course, we know instances where some of the judges, the superior courts have made comments about some of the judges to say that some of them are not even fit to be judges. But it takes two to tango.
Okay.
We have to do what we are supposed to do as lawyers before we get something that we expect.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm so sorry we had to cut it off because time has run out, but I do appreciate your being here. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.